Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. I'm Alex. Where we last left off, Lynn had been stolen by a giant robot, maybe? I'm gonna guess it's a giant robot. It looked like a robot arm. So I'm guessing it's actual Sissel, because who else could manipulate a giant robot arm? Alright, yep, that's about it. Let's get started. Chapter 17, 5:10 a.m. I think we're about at the end. The upended submarine continues to sink, slowly but surely. A long, long journey to the bottom of the sea. There's our robot arm. Lynn and the little lady found the darkness and salt water closing in on them. But at the very last second, something saved them. Now it looks down at them quietly. My head filled with one giant question. What in the world is that thing? What? He can just manipulate a ton of objects like that? They're not even connected. Ooh, classy. I see you managed to survive, Detective. You're... I forgot the hey. Hey, you're... Excuse my appearance. I seem to have lost my body. Oh, and you there. You're the ghost who's been saving Lynn all evening, aren't you? You knew about me all along? Of course. What else would explain all those unnatural things happening? If you knew, how come you didn't do anything about it all this time? And how come you decided to save us all of a sudden? I thought you wanted to get revenge on us. Dots. I don't really know. Please, you've got to tell me. I need to know. We still have the glasses? Who in the world are you? We really identify with those glasses, apparently. Sissel, look at you. What happened? I can't hold on to that image of myself any longer. You can't remember who you are? That's right. I came all this way tonight, trying to chase down my lost memory. For quite a bit tonight, I thought I was you, Sissel. Sissel? My name isn't Sissel. I'll bet you'll remember really soon who you are and who I am too. What? The man in front of me is not me, and I'm even further away from the truth. Or maybe not. Something is stirring in my mind, a memory about to emerge. Do I know this man? Now that I've shed my image of myself, I feel like I'm one step closer to the truth. They got us good. It was all over for the submarine. It's the engine room. Its engine room is destroyed. There's a hole in this hull, and it's sinking as we speak. What are you doing here? I thought you had a deal with those people. They betrayed me, and I was a fool to trust them. They already have what they wanted now. The Tesmic fragment. I didn't know they had it all figured out. You mean they figured out the source of your powers? Yeah, that meteorite's radiation has two effects on living creatures. It gives power and time. If you don't mind, we'd like to hear more. These 10 years, I've been watching that junkyard superintendent do his research, and I think they've kind of got some of it figured out. The meteorite's radiation gives off Spirit's special powers. like possessing and manipulating objects.
And in my case, swapping objects.
Exactly. Apparently there are individual differences in the powers we get, and it seems these powers change as time goes by.
They do?
Yeah, my powers have changed over these past 10 years. At first, I could only manipulate small living creatures. Now then, how do you suppose we got these powers? It's simple.
Is it? How then?
In a nutshell, we died while exposed to the energy emitted by the meteorite. Its radiation.
That's what does it? That's what does it? Dying while being exposed to the radiation?
On that day 10 years ago. A fragment of that meteorite pierced my heart, and I died. So of course, I received special powers.
Hey, wait a minute! Is that how I got my powers too? You know, you might be right. Aren't the Tesmic remains still right there in that park at the bottom of the crater?
You're right. So, that must mean I must have died in the presence of the meteorite's radiation too. Another effect the meteorite's radiation has on us is that it gives us time. Again, I think this time effect is centered around the theme of death, but it's not all that clear. So the fact that I can return 4 minutes before a person's death is another effect of that meteorite? Dots. One of the characteristics of that meteorite is its ability to replay the moment of death.
Replay the moment of death? Ah! This is all so strange and confusing. I can't take it all in. It makes about as much sense to me as anything else.
Yeah, strange and confusing. That about sums up the object that pierced my body that day. Thanks to that meteorite fragment, my very existence is a contradiction. What do you mean? That day, when the fragment pierced my heart, I lost my life. However, because it remained inside of me, that fragment continued to constantly regenerate my body. In other words, my body was continuously cycling between the moments that separated my life and death.
What?
My body's vital functions stopped 10 years ago. My body's time is perpetually stopped at the moment just before my death. That time just stopped?
Uh-huh.
So I simply existed, not really alive and not really dead. That pretty much sums up these last 10 years for me, ever since that incident in the park. My body hasn't aged today. My hair hasn't grown an inch. Come to think of it, that old pigeon guy mentioned something. He said he couldn't cut the guy's body with the scalpel.
So I guess as soon as an incision would be made, his body would regenerate. Wow.
Before I left this country, I wanted to do one thing. I wanted to get revenge on the people who stole our lives.
Our lives?
As part of the deal, I made those guys promise to cooperate.
Cooperate? You mean the kidnapping?
It all went fine. I manipulated the justice minister and made him issue the execution order. But I thought he might call it off the execution at the last second. So that's why he wanted his daughter kidnapped.
But they kidnapped the wrong girl.
Little did I know, they had their own reasons for cooperating with me.
Uh-huh.
Their objective was to wipe out everybody who had to do with Tesmic. Detective Jad was one such person, so they were happy to cooperate. Inspector Cabanella and that junkyard super, they were slated to be wiped out too. And as it turns out, I was one of their targets as well. They stole my Tesmic fragment, and here I am. But they had one more final target. You, detective.
Me?
If you weren't there in the park that day 10 years ago, I never would have thought of doing something as stupid as taking a hostage.
Okay. But I was just a little kid playing in the park.
Yeah, I know.
Huh?
10 years later, you've become a detective looking into Jowd's case. Tonight, I invited you to a quiet spot on the edge of town. It was a trap, you see. I told you who I was. You never saw my face that day 10 years ago, so of course you didn't recognize me. I took possession of you to make you shoot me. I knew Lynn wouldn't shoot us. That was just ridiculous plotline. Your subconscious resisted me. Such incredible power. It was the first time I wasn't able to control somebody completely. The aim was off, and the first shot missed the mark. That junkyard was equipped with security cameras. I knew you'd be wanted for murder. That was my plan, anyway. But they had other ideas. They simply wanted you wiped out. But then, something threw a big monkey wrench into their scheme. Something threw a big monkey wrench into their scheme. I showed up. I was supposed to meet up with them after that, but then something went wrong.
What happened?
My body disappeared. Aha, that inspector in white was responsible for that one. My precious bargaining chip was in that body. I had to get it back, no matter what. That inspector caused me no end of trouble.
But why were those people targeting me? I never even heard of the Tesmic meteorite.
Because you were looking into the Jowd case. They thought you would find out about Tesmic sooner or later.
What? That's it? Any more?
We don't even know who we are yet. That guy knows. And that's pretty much the whole story. The only thing left to do now is wait for the water pressure to crush this submarine.
Oh no!
There are no cores that link from here to the water surface.
I have an idea! We hook up the phone line and...
There are no communications cables down this deep. They meant for the submarine to be my coffin, a coffin for the dead. There is no escape.
Thoughts? I think I kind of understand now. What you've been feeling these 10 years.
You what?
This feeling, cut off from the world, alone in a submarine, sinking slowly towards the bottom of an endless sea. This must be how you felt all along. Camila! Is it true? We're stuck here? What? If my dad was here, I bet he'd save us. Oh, Camila, I'm so sorry.
That's funny. What is it, Sissel? There's something I don't understand. Why would they go to all the trouble of detaching the control room? What? Why didn't they just steal the Tesmic fragment and escape if that's what they wanted? Why did they have to jettison your body off into the sea? That's a good question. But I guess it doesn't matter why now. We'll never find it again. We have no idea where it was launched to.
Wait a minute! Yes, we do! This will tell us where Detective Jowd is!
That present from the inspector in white.
That's right, Detective Jowd told me to hold on to it for him. And that bullet is still in that person's body in the command room, right? Then we should be able to tell exactly where it is with this.
But, even if we find out where it is, how do we get there?
We should be able to figure something out between the three of us. With our powers, right, Miss Lynn? Right. Oh, wait a minute. What about the torpedo?
A torpedo?
In any case, it's way too early to give up.
It looks like Detective Jowd is our last hope.
Come on, let's get started.
He has no cores. Why is this machine shoving grapes at me?
Well, it looks like it's the private cabin of the top officer, doesn't it? This machine is probably for feeding him grapes while he lies in bed. Oh, that sounds heavenly!
I've been thinking about this for a while now. But don't you think that country's use of technology is just a little off? Says the guy who made a deal with said country.
Anyway, it looks like the arm of this machine is a bit busted.
I don't want to talk to you. That's it? No more moving? I guess we're going to the torpedo room.
The torpedo room, huh?
There might be another torpedo left there. I'll go check it out.
Oh, I get it. You're going to use a missile to ram the control room.
Well, I don't know about ram. We don't want to blow Detective Jowd up, but something like that.
We'll climb up to the torpedo room too. Up is definitely safer.
Okay, I'll see you there then.
Looks like the torpedoes can be launched manually with these switches. There are 2 tubes, so there should be 1 more left. I guess the first thing we have to do is load it into the tube. When it comes to missiles, you can count on me. I'll enter the coordinates of the command room to the torpedo. And I just turned on the backup power, so we ought to be able to use the switches now.
Okay, let's try it.
Good luck.
What does this valve do? Nothing. The switch won't budge. Maybe it's broken? But I don't think the entire device is broken though. It would probably work just fine if I could only move this switch. But I have to find a way to move it somehow. But I can't do it with my powers alone.
What will happen to these two ladies?
I think that's up to us and our powers.
What?
This is no time to be standing around, unsure of ourselves. Will you lend me your strength missile?
Me? Of course I will. Count on it.
So we have to switch the switches? Our Sissel button didn't change. Inaccurate. There we go! That torpedo looks serviceable.
All set on this end too. But something's odd.
What is it?
The command room, it looks like it's slowly sinking.
Sinking?
Yeah, like it's completely run out of power. I wonder what happened.
I don't know, but I guess I'll find out.
Right, okay. Hop into the missile. I'll launch it for you.
Okay, thanks.
I've already set the torpedo's course. I'll head towards the command room where Detective Jowd is. It'll head towards the command room where Detective Jowd is. 12 seconds after launching, it'll pass by the command room for an instant. That instant will be your window of opportunity to jump over to the command room.
Okay, got it. And then we'll find a way to come back and save you. That'll probably be my last task tonight. Just hold on until we get back. They keep switching between torpedo and missile. Okay, come on, missile. Missile?
I'm sorry, I can't go.
What?
I just can't. How could I leave? I can't leave Miss Lynn and Miss Camila behind. I can't do it.
Missile.
I swapped the switches so the missile can be launched. You'll have to do the rest, Sissel.
I can't do it either. I can't ask Missile to come with me after that. I understand exactly how he feels.
I want you to go, Missile. What? But Miss Lynn?
You staying here won't change our fate. But if you go with Sissel, you might be able to make something happen, and that's our only hope.
But what if something doesn't happen? I'll never be able to see you again. Never, ever again. And I can't understand. Even I can understand that. I couldn't stand that. Don't worry, Missile. Miss Camila? I just know you and Sissy can make something happen. I believe in you. I'll be right here waiting for you. We'll see each other then. Don't worry. Miss Camila! That's a good boy, Missile. Now, are you ready? Remember, it's 12 seconds after I throw the switch.
Hopefully I don't have to actually time that. We're ready. Because I'm not going to time that.
Sissel?
Yes?
We never found out who you really were. But that doesn't matter now. All I know is I'm truly glad I met you tonight. Thank you for everything.
And I'm glad I met you, Detective.
But we're going to see each other again, right, Sissy? Right, Missile?
That's right. We promise, little lady.
Of course we will!
I'll never forget you, no matter what happens. Here goes then. Here goes. Alright, whatever. Here goes then.
Good luck, friend.
There's too many high-pitched voices in this scene. I can't do it. These 12 seconds are lasting an eternity. I strive to think of a way to save Lynn and the little lady the whole time. But how can a ray of light, of hope, reach this far down into the deep sea before I can think of an answer? The 12 seconds are up. Detective Jowd!
I bet that big masked man did this. I'm going to bite him.
You better not. You might break your teeth. The command room lost power and it's sinking. I wonder what this masked man is going to do.
Let's talk to Detective Jowd.
Sorry for the wait, Detective Jowd. Who are you? Are you Sissel? Please excuse my appearance. Can't believe you made it here. How is Camila? What about Lynn? Well, it's kind of a long story. I told Detective Jowd about everything that happened on the submarine Noah. The submarine is badly damaged? Why would he do that to his own submarine? I wish I knew. I know the answer to that one. It's because he's afraid of my powers. You followed us? I didn't even notice. It's been a long 10 years, Detective Jowd. Are you Yomiel? Say you remember me, do you? How could I possibly forget? So that's your real name, huh? Yomiel? That's right. But those people on the Yornoa were calling you Sissel. That's just an alias I was using for my deal with them. I didn't see any need to tell them my real name. Could you do me a favor? Would you let me ask you some questions? I've been trying to find out my true identity all night. Sure, go ahead. I'm sure there's plenty we can still tell you. Right, Detective Jowd? Right. 10 years ago. You were a top systems engineer, weren't you?
Systems engineer? What's that? By the way, I'm a top Pomeranian, you know.
Well, it's kind of hard to explain to a dog, but it's a person who's good at using computers. I don't mean to brag, but I was one of the best in the industry. That's how I got roped into joining that project. Project? What project? It was a project aimed at recognizing the nation's top secret information. The goal was to build a new system using multi-dimensional programming theory. I was asked to join the project by an agent of the government.
Doesn't sound like something a top Pomeranian would know anything about.
To me, it just sounded like another challenging job. However, this project was also the target of a secret plot. I bet you can imagine the kind of crime that the nation's top secrets might attract. I never thought for the life of me I'd ever have to deal with spies. It was never made public, but every organization in the country moved on this one. And then one day the name of a certain programmer emerged as a suspect. It was the guy who built the core of the system. The police arrested you and then that incident happened. He escaped from the interrogation room and took little Lynn as hostage. By the way, Detective Jown, when was it that I was proven innocent? About 6 months after your death. I'm so sorry, Yomiel. 10 years ago. My soul was split from my body and I lost everything. Since the Tesmet came from the sky, does that mean the answer is like aliens? Alien technology? Aliens did it? It's not about ghosts, it's about aliens. I be sealed in eternal darkness. I really like this tune, by the way. It really reminds me of Ace Attorney. I don't remember what track I'm thinking of from Ace Attorney. Oh, oops, saying stuff. But nobody noticed my presence. What good were my powers? They didn't help anybody. Not even the passage of time could heal my pain. In fact, it only made it worse. I wanted to disappear, but I wasn't even allowed to do that. The way Lynn described it is exactly right. Sinking slowly towards the bottom of an endless sea. An overwhelming feeling of loneliness and despair. And I wanted all of you to suffer what I was suffering. And so that's why you murdered Alma. That's right. I wanted you to know what it was like to lose everything you cared about. I wanted you to feel the same pain I felt. What? It was the twisted witch of a mind poisoned by infinite loneliness. And then, as I was plotting my revenge, I had an idea. I came up with a plan to use these powers of mine to make a deal. There's something I just don't understand about that deal. I'm sure your powers would be very valuable to them, but what would you get out of the deal? A new life. Life? I asked them for 2 conditions. Number 1 was that they help me with my revenge plot. And the second was a rebirth for me. A new birth? A new beginning, man. I didn't care if it was a fake life, an artificial life. I just wanted a physical receptacle for my soul, a name, an identity, an everyday life. I wanted to grow old in a society that would accept me. And finally, I wanted to die, surrounded by a loving family. That's the kind of life I asked them for. A completely man-made life. That's right. I knew I couldn't hope for anything more than that. To make it all come true, I knew it would take a lot of money and a lot of power. That's why I decided to ask the national government to help me, and their response in the end was betrayal. They were making their moves much more carefully than I suspected. They sent spies to this country and researched my powers on their own, and they even figured out what Tesmic was all about. And you had no idea they were doing all this? None at all. I was a fool. So then, why did they go to all the trouble of making a deal with you? Why didn't they just steal a hunk of the Tesmic meteorite from the park? They couldn't. Huh? After the manipulator incidents, research was conducted in this country too. A report was submitted to the government about the source of the manipulator's power. By Inspector Cabanella and that old pigeon guy, eh? At first, the government didn't believe the report. But then they decided to put the park under surveillance just in case. Surveillance, huh? It looks like just an ordinary peaceful park, but there are armed agents there at all times. Don't tell me that odd leaflet guy is one of them. No, not him. He's just a plain old odd person. The park is like a silent battlefield on an international scale. So that's why they couldn't steal the Tesmic meteorite. And lately, under the pretense of building a housing site, they began working on a plan to destroy that park in order to secure the Tesmic meteorite. So that's in it. So the upshot of your grand deal was this, eh? Yeah, it's the ending I deserve. But at least there's one thing you must be happy about. What's that? You've managed to steal me away. You've managed to seal me away at the bottom of the sea forever. Well, shall we get started? Started with what? Bringing Detective Jad back to life, of course.
What? What good will that do now? But we promised! We promised Miss Lena and Miss Camila we'd save them!
And we can't do that without you, Detective Jad. I've been guided by fate tonight to this place. I won't give up now. Alright, fine. Let's see where it leads us. Here we go then. Back to 4 minutes before your death. I'm still thinking about what Ace Attorney track that is. I feel like it's from Trials and Tribulations. If anybody knows what I'm thinking of, please tell me. It's gonna bother me forever. So, where are we headed? We are not headed anywhere, Detective. What? There was only enough fuel on board to launch us away, Detective. We'll run out soon, and that'll be our destination, Detective. What are you talking about? That would mean that you're trapped here too. By the way, I am not human, Detective. Oh, that makes sense. He wouldn't sense him. I probably wouldn't sense an object either. I am a remote-controlled robot, Detective. What? Your country's use of technology is just plain off. We get that a lot, Detective. Why would you go to all the trouble to do this? There's nothing but a shell there. It's hardly a threat anymore. Commander Sis likes to provide against any possibility, no matter how small, Detective. Possibility? What are you talking about? There's no need for you to know, Detective. Now it's time to say goodbye, Detective. In the end, your fate remains the same, it seems, Detective. Grr. Camila, forgive me. It isn't over yet.
It isn't?
Remember what that big masked man said? Any possibility, no matter how small. Possibility. In other words, there must be a chance here somewhere. Possibility of us turning this situation around. Huh?
What is it, Detective?
Look at Yomiya's shell. There's no aurora emanating from his body. Of course there isn't. The Tesmic fragment is gone. Could this change in his shell give us some kind of lead? I figured it out. I know what the possibility, no matter how small, is that they are afraid of. What is it? My time was perpetually stopped thanks to the power of the Tesmic. His body cycled between the moments that separated his life and death. Right, but not anymore. The Tesmic fragment has been taken away. Exactly, so what does that mean? I get it! Your body won't come back to life anymore. The moment the Tesmic fragment was removed, my shell became a regular corpse. So, let's see, that means we can go back to 4 minutes before your death?
But wait a minute! Exactly when is that death?
That's simple. We'll find out. When we get there, let's move!
Hell yeah, time inception.
I live for that kind of bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. Ooh, extra fancy going back in time because it was so long ago. I fell back through the cracks of times for what seemed like forever, and then I saw it, the final death, at the end of this long night. Who exactly am I? I've already seen all of the clues. All I have to do now is remember. The final journey to the truth starts now.
Oh, that's really the end of this chapter? That was really short. I think the next part is the last part. If I looked it up a while ago. I think there is 18 chapters, and I believe that this is chapter 17. So the next time should be the final piece of the puzzle. We will find out who Sissel is. Not Sissel. What is his name? Yomiel. Yomiel seems to know who we are, and since he called us Sissel, I'm guessing our name is actually Sissel. Also, I definitely remember the twist because I played this like 3 years ago. But I will just keep my mouth shut because we only have one more chapter left. But that's why I will not be remotely surprised. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. I would love to know your thoughts and comments and criticisms down below. If you want to hear more of what I have to say about visual novels and games, I will link my Snapchat, my Twitter, my Instagram, and my blog down below. I will also be putting a link to the website of the game I'm working on down below, which is a visual novel interactive fiction kind of game. Similar to the stuff we're playing, but not really puzzly. It's definitely more on the visual novel mark. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys for the last chapter of Ghost Trick.